All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to our webinar today. We are going to start shortly. Let's give it about 1 more minute till the rest of the people to join. But I will be introducing myself first. So those of you who are joining for the first time, I am Learning Consultant Rose. You can either call me Minji. I am Learning Consultant located in Korea, South Korea. So if you had any questions, please do let us know via chat, or you can also let us know by requesting to your local learning consultant. But today we'll be learning about truth and myths in language learning. Um, so just to get a head start, if you guys had any questions or related to our webinar, please do let me know via our chat. And if you cannot hear me or see my screen, please do let us know via chat. I think a lot of you are still joining, so please go ahead and leave me a chat. Can everyone see my screen? Since no one is replying, I hope that everyone can see my screen. Let's see. I see chat is disabled. Okay, 1 second. Sorry, I had the same problem last time. Okay, so thank you for letting me know via Q&A. If you guys had any other problems, please do let me know by Q&A. Perfect. Okay, so we'll start. Again, this is your learning consultant, Rose. You can call me Minji also. I am your learning consultant located in South Korea. This is my second webinar. It is nice to see you guys again. And if you had any questions regarding our webinar, please do let us know by Q&A at the end of our webinar today. Or you can even ask your local learning consultant in your country. So it is nice to meet you again. Today we'll be discussing different truth and myths in language learning. I hope that you can learn or unlearn a thing or two about language learning. So next slide. Let's start by reading this slide. Introduction. In order to thrive in the global marketplace, businesses need employees who can communicate effectively, heightening the need for language learning. A study by New American Economy reveals that the demand for bilingual workers is continually rising as they are believed to be more empathic and creative. As written in this slide, is not enough to just stick to one's native language anymore. So current global market requires individuals who understands the language and culture of others. Although unnoticed, language and cultural misunderstandings, our business world today gives high regards to professionals who are able to communicate effectively across borders. Thus, it's imperative to expose and resolve language learning myths, as the strategies you are using now may not be as effective as you make them out to be. So today, let's figure out which one of these following is a myth and the truth. Question. So is it sufficient to just take a language course, or real-world application do matter? It is a myth. It's sufficient to just take a language course. Studying is very different from applying. As much as classroom instructions are presently enforced, studying is actually not advisable for language learning because studying promotes non-participation, meaning leaving no room for real-life applications. Learners only tend to memorize irrelevant concepts and practices in mere writing. Because of this, actually speaking the language becomes little overlooked. So in order to make up for that, it is best to supplement knowledge intake by personally speaking the language in order to broaden one's second language retention and vocabulary. Reading, writing, and speaking should be accompanied by practice. So next question, which one of these following is a myth and the truth? No one's ever too old to learn versus the older you are, the harder it is to learn a new language. There's an old adage that goes better late than never. And in the context of language learning, this quotation rings true as possible regardless of age. Children are often viewed as fast learners, but in consideration of the criteria for language proficiency, young learners deal with simpler concepts compared to adults. That's why their progress appears quicker than adults, but the difficulty level is more or less the same. So the truth, no one is ever too old to learn. In actuality, adults can learn language faster as long as the learner consumes more focus, time during learning. So next question, which of these following myth is the truth? So personalized language learning approaches is more effective, or every person learns the same way as everyone do. It is actually a myth. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to learning, as every person has their own learning style that may not be effective for others if an approach isn't tailored to you. So you may find language learning a little bit more challenging. There are 4 types of learning styles: visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic and tactile. Each has its own traits that may work for you or may not, but having a learning style that doesn't cancel out other ones. So hearing, seeing, and experiencing are all equally essential to studying. So the truth is, by personalizing your methods to your learning needs and preferences more effective, you can seek help from native speakers available in our language training program that offers various products, services, and internet access for additional materials. So next question, which of these following is a myth and which of is the truth? Interacting with other language learner is enough, or it's always better to practice with a native speaker. Practicing a new language calls for more than just talking to your fellow language learners. Although this is also helpful, there are many things a native speaker can teach you also compared to just your peers. So such as nuances and other invaluable cultural knowledges. Thus, taking it from someone who's familiar with language firsthand not only boosts your confidence in conversing with native speakers, but also increases your ability to understand them better. So last question, which of these following is the myth and which is the truth? You can learn a new language in the comfort of your own home or workspace versus exposure to the language in native country speeds up language learning. The truth is, being constantly exposed to a foreign language doesn't guarantee rapid language learning. In fact, it leaves you even little confused because of the different pronunciations, speed of speech, and accents, and so on. So learning a language is more than just listening to it. It takes understanding the words, structures, and concepts before applying it. So you don't have to live somewhere in order to learn a new language. Studying and practicing it with a live coach is enough for starters. So if you're a beginner, in this way, you are guided step by step. You can also broaden your vocabulary and knowledge by watching and listening to different medias for further passive exposure, such as videos, or we have lots of medias online. So now that we have more clear understanding about language learning, I hope that you can take note of these 5 things in your mind while you are on training. So first, real world applications do matter. And 2, no one's ever too old to learn. And number 3, personalize your language learning approach. Number 4, it's always better to practice with a native speaker. And lastly, you can learn a new language in the comfort of your own home or workspace. And I see that we have lots of comments. Yes, the real world applications do matter, and younger and working hard is more important. Oh, okay. So as we saw in our previous slides, yes, being young and working hard is very, very important, but also it is very, very important that we try to understand all our processes and things we learned and review the things we learned and try to apply it in our real lives. So if you have our live trainers, it is important that you apply the things you have studied in our portal and apply it and try to speak it, even just to your peers. But perhaps if you had more thorough questions about learning the language, like if you had questions about grammar, vocabulary, meanings, please do ask your live trainers. And please take note that the live trainers are available to the product that you have by your company. If you are curious which product you have, please do ask your local consultants, okay? And that was it for today. Thank you for joining us again today. And we will be actually sending you the recording of this webinar by email. But if you had any questions, could you please let me know by Q&A section in our Zoom. Did anybody have special questions regarding our webinar today? Yes, it is sometimes difficult to spare our time to just study. Do need effort and commitment. That's why it is important to have great access to your portal. So as you can see, our goFLUENT product is available via mobile, our online laptop, even iPad, some kind of tablet. So you can study anywhere at any time. And anything else you guys wanted to ask? Native speakers are available in conversation courses. And how much can it help to see original language films with subtitles? I personally think that subtitles do help a lot. I sometimes see like English movies or like TV shows, even with subtitles. Even when I learn Korean, I try to watch it with Korean subtitles so that anything I missed, I can take note of. And also it is more clear to understand which words you are hearing and understanding, right? Is there any idea how to improve our ability in English and make us not boring? So as mentioned in earlier slides, there are many types of ways of learning, right? So you can figure out which style really fits you and try to really pursue that style so that you can implement more effort and engagement in our studying. How are the next steps? Florian, could you be specific what you meant by next steps? And I have a problem of mixing languages I am currently learning. When you say mixing languages, did you mean that you are speaking maybe too many different languages that you are having problem um, speaking them, applying them in your real life, maybe? Because I also speak two languages, Korean and English. I do speak a little bit of Japanese, and I can understand if you're having problems remembering certain words. And honestly, practice is the only solution I feel like for myself. Maybe same for you as well, because if I don't use certain words in daily life, I cannot remember that word. Even though I learned them and I know that word, when I most need the word, I cannot pronounce them or really say them out loud. So please do try to really practice in your daily life as much as possible. Learning English and French and native is Arabic. Okay, so I would say same thing, practice would be the best, or even starting a language one by one. So like step by step, if you have mastered Arabic, then next English, then French would be the best. So that you don't mix up the words or grammar rules, any concept that you learn behind it. Difficult related to structure. When you say difficult related to structure, could we be more specific with that? I think that structure you meant by grammar, I think. So if you're having problem with grammar, I would say practice too, but it is more important to understand why this rule exists. So if you're having problem with grammar rules, then please do try to read back on actual theories and reasons behind these grammar rules. And how can you improve the pronounce? So pronunciation honestly should come last because everybody in the world speaks with different accents. So if you're having a problem with pronunciation, also practice is number one, but I think it's best if you could just memorize and know all your concepts first. Then when you're really familiar with all your concept grammar rules and all the rules for the English or your new language learning, then you can start to really practice pronounce so that you don't have like extra things that you have to work on and just focus on pronunciation, because I feel like pronunciation is the most hardest part, the most difficult part of language learning. Sometimes we are feeling disappointed about don't feel an evolution in our trip language. What advice can you share with us to fix this? Um, I don't quite understand the question. When you say evolution in our trip language, did you mean like you're not progressing enough, maybe? Guys, if you have to leave, do not worry. We'll be sharing our recording to your email, so you guys can leave if you do not have further questions. And how can we learn vocab? Source if you have reference. So the best thing in our portal, if you have our e-learning contents, it is best to utilize any articles, videos, and really point out or save the words that you did not understand, and honestly try to understand the meaning of words and memorize it and practice. Best way to do it is memorize and practice for vocabulary. If you're having problem with speaking English fluently, as I said many times before, practice, 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 especially with your peers and native speakers around you. I see. So I see that one of the learners said yes about grammar. So I'm guessing it's the question we mentioned earlier. If you're having a hard time about concepts of grammar, please do utilize our resources and our live trainers if you do have the product. But if you do not, please do utilize the CC, our conversation classes trainers. They can always answer your questions as well. To improve English verbally, any community or channel. So I recommend using our products first, but if you do not find any, try to find anyone who you can really utilize around you, like your peers, your native friends. But if you do not have any around you, could you please ask your local learning consultant so that we can help you connect to the right products? And how to master a language faster is the best way to relocate in the country. Actually, as we mentioned in our earlier slides, it is not necessary to move to a local area just to learn a native language. Actually, I myself would recommend that you just practice, practice, practice. And honestly, the hardest step is to really give your time and focus to your studying, to your language learning. So please, if you do have any time, our goFLUENT portal gives you access to 24 hours, 365 days, anywhere you can log in with any device that you want if it has internet. So try to utilize that a little bit more. Thank you so much, you guys. If you had any further questions, please do let me know. I am always here. And if you actually do not have further questions, you can also ask your learning consultants or send us an email, and we'll be happy to help you guys out. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Thank you. And I hope that we really answered all your questions and motivated you to study more. If you have any further questions, please do let me know. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope to see you guys in the next month too. Please do join us for our next webinar. Hopefully we have more interesting topics for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today.